started today for the mother of the Oxford High School shooter. The prosecutor, what they have to show, and what about the defense to this case? And there's a lot about guns.
I'm meteorologist Rick Schluterman. More rain on the way for late tonight and more fog for the weekend. We're going to check the numbers. That's just ahead.
The Lions are on the practice field, getting ready for Sunday's NFC Championship. We'll head to Allen Park and hear from some of the star players straight ahead.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 5 starts now.
Eyes on a shooter and I have a victim. I knew it was another one of my students from Lakeville. Tate Neer. It just took my breath away.
Emotional testimony tonight as the trial of Jennifer Crumbley gets underway, the parent of the Oxford school shooter charged with involuntary manslaughter. You know, footage inside the school was played in court today, causing Jennifer Crumbley to break down in tears.
We also learned Jennifer Crumbley plans to take the stand in her own defense. Fox News' Charlie Langton was in the courtroom and joins us live to recap the day's testimony. Hearing that, Charlie, though, what are your thoughts on that? Could this help her taking the stand?
I'll tell you, I think it's very difficult to take the stand, and that's a little bit risky, but we're going to get into that in just a minute. Let me tell you, this is a very unique case. Let's get right into the courtroom now. Jennifer Crumbley, in shackles. She's been in jail for about 2 years, waiting for her day in court. Well, it came today. And yes, it's a very unique trial. It's true that she did not pull the trigger. That's what the judge told the jurors before the opening statement started. But this is a case of gross negligence. What does that mean? Is that the mother was so grossly negligent and had a duty to make sure that her son did not commit a murder. In this case, kill 4 students at Oxford High School. But you see testimony and presented by the prosecutor that show that Jennifer Crumbley knew that there was a gun in the house, actually participated in the shooting of the gun, taking the shooter to gun ranges, all on videotape, all in front of the jury. And you can see there that the shooter obviously knew his way around guns. All right, let's get some highlights now from the opening statements. Part of the trial that the prosecutor and the defense attorney summarizes their theory of the case. Take a look.
The 2 people in the world with all of the information, all of the background, to put this drawing into context were James and Jennifer Crumbley. And you will learn that in that meeting, they didn't share any of it. You're going to see a pattern emerge in Jennifer Crumbley after the shooting on November 30th. That pattern will include and show you that she immediately began to downplay and downright lie about her level of knowledge of her son and that weapon in that drawing on November the 30th. And that's what this case is about. It's about Jennifer Crumbley's willful disregard of the danger that she knew of. That's why we're here.
Jennifer Crumbley was a hyper-vigilant mother who cared more about her son than anything in the world. Jennifer Crumbley is not a perfect parent, and she is going to take the stand and tell you about her life with her son, about the day he became the shooter, and about the day he did something she could have never anticipated or fathomed or predicted.
Ooh, Taryn, you asked the question, should Jennifer Crumbley take the stand in her own defense? Wow. I'll tell you what, I think that if she does take the stand, and she's got to now, or her attorney told the jury she's going to take the stand, there's going to be a very emotional Jennifer Crumbley. And yes, she was emotional, unlike her son, who showed pretty much no emotion through the entire murder trial. Again, this is a manslaughter trial. It's a little bit different. The prosecutor has to show that she was grossly negligent. And it is legal to have guns. That was the testimony that we'll get into at 6 o'clock. A lot about guns, pretty much from a special agent that testified. But the bottom line here is that it was an emotional day, but more so it was a day where the prosecutor starts the case off on this unique case, the first of its kind, where the mother is being held criminally responsible for the murder committed by her son. And again, Mom, in opening statements, said, hey, I don't know anything about guns. I didn't have anything to do with it. It was my husband, James. We haven't gotten to the testimony part of that. That's coming up later. Again, this trial is expected to take 2 to 3 weeks. It's actually still going on right now. I'm live outside the courthouse in Oakland County. Taryn, I'll send it back to you.
And that would seem to be very interesting so far in this trial. They're painting Jennifer Crumbley like she was the parent who did the best she could, and the father's responsibility to handle things like locking up the gun and things of that nature. To you, Charlie, does it seem like they are pitting the parents against each other?
They are. Yes, they are. That's the strategy, and that's why they had 2 separate trials, because it became very evident that Jennifer Crumbley didn't know how to even operate a gun. Yes, she did take 15-year-old, the shooter, to a couple of gun ranges. Yes, it's on videotape, pretty much stipulated to. But the real, according to the opening statement anyway, the real, if you want to say, problem here would have been Dad. Dad and the shooter, they like guns. They shot guns. And that was, it seemed to be that the shooter was more obsessed with guns than certainly Jennifer. But again, we're just getting into first day here. Obviously, prosecutors got the burden. There's a lot more to go, but no doubt a very interesting first day of testimony.
Yes, a lot of eyes on this one, and we'll be watching closely. Charlie, thank you.
Well, a tragedy to tell you about in Birch Run. A state police trooper is hit and killed on I-75. MSB says Trooper Joel Popp of the Tri-City Post was killed while on duty Wednesday night. Shortly after 7 o'clock, Popp and other troopers were investigating an impaired driver on northbound 75 right near that Birch Run exit. That's when another driver ended up hitting 2 patrol cars and Popp. The trooper was hospitalized and died from his injuries. Popp was 39 years old. He is survived by his wife and their daughter. We'll have more from MSB coming up at 6, and of course, all of our thoughts with all of law enforcement, especially this family dealing with this tragedy.
All right, turning to weather, more cloudy skies. It seems like we just can't get out of this rut in Metro Detroit. Hopefully we'll see some sunshine soon.
Yeah, it's just yuck out there. That's not a meteorological term, not to my knowledge, but Rich Luderman says, hey, maybe you can't find yuck in there, can you?
It's in my book. No, yuck.
It's there. Okay,
it's a perfect word for today. Yeah, lots of clouds and fog and drizzle. We actually have some steadier rains down here in central Illinois, southern Indiana. That's coming our way for late this evening through the overnight. So it does stay damp and dreary. Here's that dense fog advisory through 10 o'clock tonight. Watch out for patchy, dense fog with visibility down below a half a mile. Once again today, it's not terribly cold. I'm going to step out of the way and show you the numbers. 33 Lansing, 39 for us, 37 as far north as Port Huron. So we may dip a degree or 2, but it's going to stay damp with wet conditions overnight into tomorrow. How about Saturday night and Sunday morning? Some more wet weather as the snow melt continues. Area creeks and streams are running a bit high, so we'll talk about all of it in a 7-day. Rupe and Taryn coming up in 10.
All right, good stuff. Thank you so much. Well, gloomy weather or not, we are all pumped up, and the sun is shining bright for us because 3 days away from the Lions and 49ers facing off with a Super Bowl appearance at stake.
Yeah, we can't wait for kickoff, but the Lions are hard at work preparing for this big game. Fox News' Woody Woodruff joins us now with more, and wow, they must be working hard at this point.
You know, I'm trying to figure out, is there something big going on this weekend? I mean, a lot of people are talking to me, but anyway, for those that thought the Lions would be switching things up in order to get set for the Sunday battle against San Francisco in the NFC title game, think again. Nothing has changed with this team, not the preparations, not the focus, nothing. And I think that the players love that comfort level. Believe me, the players know what's at stake on Sunday, and they also know what they can win. Lions quarterback Jared Goff has been saying ever since the playoffs began that the Lions are going into games expecting to win, and that's been the perfect fuel for this playoff march. A solid belief in themselves, the coaches, the game plan, and not letting the outside noise distract.
There's 4 teams left, and you know, this is the times you dream of as a kid, and you grow up, you know, hoping to be in these final games, and we're 1 win away from, you know, our ultimate goal of getting to the Super Bowl and winning that game as well. But yeah, we're where our feet are today, and being very present, and know this will be a challenge for us this week, and doing our best.
The legacy that you can leave here just because of where this organization has been, you know, you can cement your name in history here, and our opportunity is right in front of us.
We're all going to come into that game with the expectation of winning it, going to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what we believe, and we'd expect nothing less. So that's our attitude going in there, and I feel like we're at the point where it's just, we've gotten this far. Let's take this thing all the way.
And you know what? I have to agree with Aiden Hutchinson right there. If you come this far, there's no reason not to win it all. And the Lions can win it all because you know what? San Francisco, I don't think is as beatable as you might have thought at the beginning of the year because there are some injuries going on with this team. I mean, especially with the 49ers, Deebo Samuel, their wide receiver. Everybody's looking at him. Remember, he injured his shoulder last week against the Packers. And I don't know, Roop, maybe he's got special healing or whatever, but a shoulder injury and breaking tackles and all that kind of stuff, definitely limited. So we'll see.
We also have our share of injuries. We know Laporta, of course, had his knee from 3 weeks ago. Is that better? He played last time. And what about Ragnow? I know that was like a broken toe, broken ankle.
A toe, ankle.
He hurt his ankle or his knee.
All kinds of foot problems. But you know what? Frank Ragnow, he did not practice today. Alex Anzalone's limited. You mentioned Sam Laporta. He was also limited today, his knee issue. Josh Reynolds also limited because of ribs. So I think if you listed as limited today, I think you're going to play on Sunday.
And adrenaline will be pushing them through, no doubt about it.
Well, these guys, medications.
Plus, these guys want to play. So, you know, they want to be in the lineup.
game you want to be in.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens as we get closer.
Well, you guys have done a great job in the sports department covering this. You'll be there every step of the way.
You know it.
Thanks, Woody. Well, Fox 2 is your home for the NFC Championship game. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. for Lions Game Day Live from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. We will take you to 11:30 and then hand things off to Danny Rogers for Inside the Pride. We will be back at 5 for your home of the Lions pregame show. Then at 6, the network takes over with the Lions and 49ers. And stick around after the game for our home of the Lions postgame show. So a full day, no doubt.
Not lying. I'm feeling a little nervous. I mean, the nerves, good nerves, right? We're all excited.
Excited. You feel excitement.
Yes. And a little
We're
anxiety.
not playing. So.
No, I get it. But I think all the fans are like you. I mean, it's been a lot. It's been a long time coming. Let's make this happen. All right. A lot going on in Lansing. The major focus of Governor Whitmer's State of the State address last night was making sure that they had state assistance to a variety of really important programs. Everything from $5,000 for in-home caretakers to a tax break if you buy a new car.
But as Fox 2's Tim Skubic reports, there were other revealing elements of her speech that did not get much attention but have political implications.
For the next 3 months, if this governor wants to get anything done in the Michigan House, she will need votes from Republicans because the body is tied 54 votes each. So it was only natural then that she gave a shout out to the House and Senate Republican leaders. But watch closely the stone face of Representative Matt Hall as she tries to play nice and he refuses to play along.
And I want to acknowledge Minority Leaders Matt Hall and Eric Nesbitt. Thank you for your leadership.
President Biden was not in the room, but very much on the governor's mind, as she gave him several shout-outs just in case some undecided voters were watching.
President Biden's policies are bringing jobs and supply chains home to Michigan from around the world. I cannot solve global inflation alone. No one person can, not even a president.
In the Republican response to her speech, the Senate Republican leader contends the governor is out of touch with average folks back home who are suffering. She disagrees.
This was a speech of someone who has spent way too much time in the Lansing bubble. Someone who doesn't worry about the price of groceries or heating her home in the winter or whether her kids can catch up in school.
What we can do is make life more affordable by lowering costs on the biggest items in your monthly budget: housing and childcare, transportation, education, utilities, and food.
Well, the Democrats on the left there were up and down all night applauding their governor. The Republicans stoically sat on their hands, even when she mentioned the Lions and the Wolverines.
Look at our Lions. And I don't know if you recall, but our Wolverines are national champions, right? Root for the Lions and have a good night. Let's go.
The governor needs bipartisan cooperation in the House, but at least during that speech last night, she got Zippel from the loyal opposition, a forebearer of legislative gridlock to follow. In Lansing, Tim Skubic, Fox 2 News.